Section 69. Mahamate once more asked the Buddha, "The Bhagavan has said it is due to projections that we imagine the existence of different things, and it isn't they themselves that exist, but only the projection of them that exists. Bhagavan, if it is only the projection of something that exists, and its own corresponding existence does not exist, would not the affliction and purification of which the Bhagavan speaks also suffer from non-existence, since the existence of whatever is imagined does not itself exist?" The Buddha told Mahamate, "So it is, so it is. It is as you say, Mahamate. What is real is not what fools imagine as existing. What they imagine as existing lacks the characteristic of its own existence. However, Mahamate, according to Buddha knowledge, there is something that exists, something the existence of which is known by means of the noble insight and noble vision of the eye of noble wisdom." Mahamate asked the Buddha, "Although those who are wise thus know what exists by means of the noble insight and noble vision of the eye of noble wisdom, and not by means of any kind of divine or physical eye, this is not what fools imagine, Bhagavan. How then do fools get free from such projections if they are unaware of a higher reality? For they are neither deluded, Bhagavan, nor are they not deluded. And how so? Because they are not aware of the existence of a higher reality, and because they do not see what transcends the characteristics of existence and non-existence. Bhagavan, the wise do not view what they imagine as real in this manner because they do not consider the individual characteristics of an external realm as external. Bhagavan, they thus perceive the characteristics of self-existence as an imagined reality, and do not say it is due to the presence or absence of causes, but due to falling prey to views of existence, and that theirs is a different realm unlike that." "But this is a circular argument, Bhagavan, because the characteristics of self-existence are not known. Also, Bhagavan, if the characteristics of self-existence are not the result of an imagined reality, how is their projection not a projection, but rather a discrimination of suchness? Bhagavan, projections differ, and the characteristics of self-existence differ. Bhagavan, because the characteristics of self-existence and their projections are not the same, how do people know what is not real if they don't imagine anything? But you say what beings imagine does not really exist in order to free them from projections. Bhagavan, why prevent beings from becoming attached to views of existence and non-existence if they then end up becoming attached to views of the existence of the realm in which Buddha knowledge functions? Why teach the non-existence of detachment and then teach the existence of Buddha knowledge?" The Buddha told Mahamate, "I do not teach the non-existence of detachment, nor do I fall prey to views of existence in speaking of the higher reality of Buddha knowledge. Rather, it is to help beings who have been attached to existence since time without beginning overcome their fears. To those attached to views of the existence of a higher reality, I teach detachment, Mahamate. I do not teach characteristics of self-existence. Rather, Mahamate, I focus on the personal realization of detachment, on transcending deluded views, on transcending views of what exists or does not exist that are perceptions of one's own mind, on obtaining the threefold liberation, on being marked with the mark of suchness, on examining self-existence based on personal realization, and on transcending views of the existence or non-existence of what is real." Section 70. Furthermore, Mahamate, bodhisattvas should not maintain the proposition, "Whatever exists does not arise." And why not? Because the proposition about existence of things would not exist, and because its reason would be characterized by arising. To state the proposition, "Whatever exists does not arise," contradicts itself. The proposition, "Whatever exists does not arise," contradicts itself, because the proposition would arise in relation to something, and also because a proposition concerning the non-arising of things would be among those things, and because its cessation would not arise. Thus, to maintain the proposition, whatever exists does not arise, is contradicted by the proposition itself. Mahamate, as for the proposition, existence and non-existence do not arise, such a proposition would be among the things that exist, although characteristics of its existence or non-existence would not. Mahamate, even if in regard to the proposition of non-arising one could maintain the proposition, whatever exists does not arise, this proposition is contradicted because the characteristics of its existence or non-existence do not arise. You should not maintain propositions. The five-part syllogism produces numerous errors due to differing characteristics and changing reasons, and because they are fabrications. Hence, you should not maintain propositions. As with, whatever exists does not arise. Likewise, in regard to, whatever exists is empty, or whatever exists has no self-existence, you should not maintain propositions. Mahamate, bodhisattvas say instead, whatever exists is like an illusion or a dream, because it is seen and not seen, and because it is a mistake of perception. You should say that the existence of everything is like that of an illusion or a dream, unless it makes people turn away in fear. Mahamate, foolish people are given to views of existence and non-existence. Don't make them turn away in fear from the Mahayana. The Bhagavan then repeated the meaning of this in verse.
There is no teaching and no self-existence, no objects and no attachments. These are the projections of fools, the misperceptions of corpses. Whatever exists does not arise. This doctrine of other schools is wrong. Nothing at all arises. What exists results from conditions. Whatever exists does not arise. The wise hold no such conception. Because propositions arise from reason, the wise get rid of them all. Like seeing through a cataract, the distorted view through strands of hair, projections of existence are the misperceptions of fools. Fabrications fill the three realms. Self-existent objects don't exist. Fabricating self-existent objects, projection gives rise to projection. The forms and objects of fabrication utterly confuse the mind. Bodhisattvas who see past these dispense with all projections. Perceiving water where there is none, the result of thirst and desire. Fools are thus bewildered, unlike the wise who see. The vision of the wise is clear, rising from samadhis of the three liberations. Beyond the reach of birth or death, they wander in a realm of no projection. Practitioners dwell in a projectionless realm, free from existence and non-existence, where existence and non-existence merge, and the fruit of Buddhahood grows. As for existence and non-existence, as for how they merge, because the mind doesn't know, confusion swirls inside and out. Once you make them stop, your mind will behold their identity.